Hello, Internet. I want to talk to you today about a thing I've noticed that is very common on the Internet, and I'm probably going to be in a vast minority here. I know there's a lot of more popular people here on YouTube who do not share my opinion on this matter, and while I respect that they have a difference in opinion, I do not respect their opinion per se, and I have no real obligation to do so. But I do have an obligation to respect the fact that they have a dissenting opinion, make no mistake. Now, the thing is that when you call out other people on the internet, it kind of starts this chain reaction of people who self-righteously go after the people you call out. And that's problematic because it overcomplicates drama when it doesn't really need to be overblown like that. Now, I understand that I am not exactly completely innocent in this regard. I have made a lot of irresponsible mistakes myself. And again, I'd like to publicly apologize to Gogo Usagi, because I really shouldn't have been calling her out, especially when I didn't have any real reason to believe that she was the one who was sending those unsigned emails. But I still stand by the fact that there's not even a real good set of evidence that what Linda Ireland sent me was actually real, but I can assure you that what I experienced was definitely real, and that they had lied to me for certain, beyond a shadow of a doubt, and of course they're not going to admit it. There's nothing I can do about that. And, but calling out VidMe, on the other hand, is something that really is a necessity because it's something that needs to be known. But at the same time, if there was a more popular YouTuber than me, especially as far as the YouTube alternative sort of community-ish goes, I mean, I don't really know anyone particularly too much more popular in this kind of clique. I mean, there's Crafting Lord 21 who makes videos similar to mine, but I don't know how much more popular his videos are than mine. And, there's Spider-Fan, and he's pretty well known, but I don't think I'm any more or less well known than these people, to be perfectly honest. I think we're all about the same level of, well, I would call it fame, but that's not really what it is. And the same logic applies to Jim Sterling and these internet developers. Because, he's a big YouTuber, so he has every reason to call these people out. But when when the lesser YouTubers start going after them, then things become a problem. Now, if you're a smaller YouTuber who is basically just parroting the opinions and the criticisms of a larger YouTuber, you should try to realize that you don't need to do what you're doing. Yes, you're angry, and that's fine. I get it. But there's a certain level of tact, and you need to understand that people you call out are going to get a certain degree of fame from being called out. Because there is this philosophy known as no publicity is good publicity. Now, it is entirely possible that bad publicity can blow someone's reputation up completely destroy it. Usually this only happens, though, if they allow it to happen, if they're so incredibly stupid and incompetent. I'm not going to name a specific individual, but the more famous example I can think of is Digital Homicide. Everyone knows Digital Homicide attempts to censor Jim Sterling blew up in their face. But you need to understand one thing, Digital Homicide was not harmless, because they had the legal ability to censor these people, to take them to court. But there are people on the internet who don't have this ability, and in fact are completely harmless. Now, I guess I am going to name this name because really at this point this person can't get any more fame than this person has already got. And that is a brony analyst, quote unquote, known as Lily Pete. Although I do not refer to this person as Lily Pete because I personally question if this person is pretending to be trans just to gain attention. Under normal circumstances, this would be a bad thing for me to do, but I have more than enough reason to believe this. I'm just not entirely certain of it, which is why I don't want to be a complete dick about it. So I just refer to Pete as Pete in gender-neutral pronouns. But regardless, Pete is also another example of a person who got blown up, but the whole deal got completely blown out of proportion because, in the end, Pete is mostly harmless. And yes, I know what she did to Sapphire Heart song was terrible. And she did, it hurt her emotions. She made her feel terrible. But there's something you need to understand about that whole situation. You only really need to call her out once. Anything beyond that should not happen. I'm not going to name names as to the people who called her out, but there is one person in particular who started a hashtag movement. You know what that's called? That's called a witch hunt. It is the same principle. And that's not acceptable. Okay? Now, again, I'm sure there are people who are going to disagree with me on that. And you know what? You are free to have your own opinions about it. But understand that you are perpetrating drama. You are endorsing needless, senseless drama. And that's not acceptable. And sometimes this sort of thing is a necessary evil. I can speak from experience. There was a certain incident with a certain friend of mine who used to go by the name of Brick Brony, and he was harassing a certain group of individuals. And through a combination of both a call-out video and a counseling from a completely separate group of individuals who really knew better how to handle the situation, it was solved. I'm not going to deny that the call-out video did give him a certain sense of fear in regards to how people would react to him if he continued that behavior. And for someone as troubled as he was, that probably was a necessity. But at the same time, his behavior like that didn't really stop until much later. Until this other group of individuals, including myself, counseled him and gave him what he really needed, which was not a call-out video, but just counseling, therapy, just friends who are there for him. And that's how that situation should have been handled to begin with. They should have calmly discussed it with him, and failing that, they should have just blocked him and be done with it. But no, they did not block him and be done with it. You want to know why? Well, in my opinion, it's because some of these people enjoy perpetrating drama. And, one person in particular doesn't seem to be too shy about admitting that. You know what? You do you, man. You do you. You do you. Yeah. I'm not calling you out or anything. I just want you to make sure that you understand that I have a different opinion from you, and I'm sure you're already well aware of that if you even remember my involvement in that situation. Because I was involved in that situation. You probably don't even remember that situation. Toon Crick doesn't even remember who he was. So I guess you guys must have completely forgotten about it, I guess. But that's okay because that means things got better. Although I do hope that you guys can get along in the future because he is really worried about that and he really wants to be your guys' friend. And a person who I'm referring to in particular, you seem like a guy who would, be willing to open up your doors again to him. I mean, if you were opened up your doors to a guy who was actively leaking chat logs to trolls, I'm not going to name names here, but there is someone in your group of friends who is leaking chat logs to trolls in what is supposed to be a private environment in which you make a podcast up in, I might add. I don't really get it, but that's your thing, you do you. So, yeah. Just, I don't like what you do. I really don't. But you do you. Just try to be a bit more responsible about it at the very least. I mean, you could, just tell your audience to not go on witch hunts, but I don't think you'll do that because you enjoy it. I can tell you really do enjoy sending your viewers on witch hunts. And that's okay. It's not my problem. It'll probably never be my problem. Of course, you'll probably put this video on your next how not to, but, that's okay. That's fine. Because I understand that there is an issue of freedom of speech, and you're free to say whatever you want. You say things however you want. And I'm sure you're a real nice person. You seem like a real nice person. You stand behind people, and you help them out. You're like the big brother of the community or something. But you just go a bit too far with it sometimes, I think. But yeah, just understand that I don't think what you're doing is acceptable, but you're free to do it because this is a free internet. Wait, no, it isn't. It really isn't, is it? I mean, there was that whole incident with PewDiePie. Well, anyway, till next time, stay determined.